What's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of On the Bluff. I'm your host, Christian Fowler. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Gabe Kuhn. If you notice, Kenny's not here right now. He will be here for the Hot 3, though. He, inside baseball, had to scarf down some dinner. So me and Gabe in the first segment, we'll bring Kenny back in for the Hot 3. Gabe, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Can't complain. Hanging in there. I'm going to make a quick announcement. I don't know if this is supposed to be out, but at the end of the month, we have Memphis football playing playing versus Chattanooga in Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. The 2014 team is going to be recognized. Learned that this week.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to get some of the guys back. I need to reach out to Paxton and some of these guys, see if they can make it back into town. But it's going to be a weekend worth of love for the start of this golden era, the 11 straight years of bowl games. That was obviously the Miami Beach Bowl years. So that was cool to hear this weekend.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. Who do you think makes it? Like, who are the ones that you 100% are like they will be there?
Okay, this is tough. This is really tough. My guy Latarius Brady will be there. Don't know if Bobby McCain can make it. Trying to keep a job in the NFL may get in the way of that. I would imagine Daniel Montiel will be there. There's a tight end on that team. Alan Cross. Who else? Most Frazier, probably. I hope that like some of the big guys can make it back, like Paxton. Guys.
Drew was on that team too, right? Drew Kaiser.
No, Drew was not on that.
That was right before.
Drew didn't get in until the next year.
Okay.
Then he started as a true freshman, but I'll be there. I'll be there.
Anthony Miller, maybe.
I don't know if it's gonna be kind of tough, right?
Yeah. Who's he in camp with right now? Is it
the Raven?
I think Baltimore is what I thought too.
Yeah, and I think he's a little more than camp. I think he's probably going to be on the active roster.
Yeah, I think he was at the end of last year also.
I talked to him earlier this offseason, and he said he's feeling as good as he ever has in his NFL career. And that shoulder, man, it's always been a tough go for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he hurt it in this final game, but it was hurt that whole year, but he re-aggravated against Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl and then just went into his career like that. And he had a couple of decent years with the Bears, but it's just the lingering effects of that after a while.
It never stayed healthy for a full season.
Right, but he says he's feeling as good as he ever has at age 30, that ripe age.
Is that not crazy that he's 30 already? Like, I vividly remember him getting drafted.
Yeah, it happens fast, brother.
Yeah.
I'm 30.
Not far for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild to see. It's wild to see. Like it's used to be where I see guys like get drafted into the National Football League, and I'm like, oh, one day I'll be that age, and then now I'm like 7 years older, 8 years older, 10 years older in some cases. It's wild.
Yeah, I saw a video earlier today of Braylon Allen last year, the Jets running back, and it was like the 20-year-old running back through the defender, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he is 20.
Yeah,
I am 7 years older than him.
Yeah, it really throws me off in the NBA now.
Oh yeah, when they're 19, like
18,
flags, like 19.
As is, it's wild. Like haven't had a legal beer yet.
They were born in 2006.
Yeah, that's mind blowing to me.
Yeah. Not too much from my weekend, and then we can move on. Just a birthday dinner with Anna Ruth on Saturday night. Her birthday will be when this comes out on Tuesday. So yeah, that's.
Hey, can I ask you this though? That 2014 team, do you think it gets forgotten about, like in the shuffle of great teams that have come through?
Yeah, I think most people immediately go to like 16 to 18 or 16 to 19.
Yeah, like Norvell gets there and it goes into hyperspeed.
Yeah, I think that's where most people go.
15 had a chance to be never forgotten about.
Yes.
Started 8-0, 13 in the country.
Was that the co-conference champion year? Was 2015?
No, 14 was.
14 was.
14. Yeah. It was the tri champions.
Yeah.
Sucked. That sucked eggs.
So what was it? Was that your redshirt sophomore year, right?
Yeah, I think I still have the ring from that year. Give me 1 second.
Oh gosh.
Give me 1 second. Flash a little bit of. I think I have it right here.
Gabe's gonna leave me with some dead air, so I don't know how I'm gonna feel this exactly.
Here it is. No, it's right here.
He's got it.
I'm here. Yeah, dude. This is the tri championship ring.
There it is.
Yeah.
in all of its glory.
Yeah, we got KUHN on the side. Let's see if I can focus that.
I don't think. Oh, there it is. Yeah,
The Miami Beach Bowl logo.
Yep,
It's cool. This is my favorite ring for sure.
it's nice.
And it meant the most because I lost all my other bowl games.
Yeah, that was the pinnacle.
Yeah, and it was the first bowl we went to. So there was that. But I feel like that team gets forgotten about. Like 2017 gets thought of more. 2019 for sure, the Cotton Bowl year.
Yeah.
But like that was, I hate to be like the guy who was a part of that team and just like wants to remember the legacy that was left behind. But like truthfully, like that was the start, man.
It was, yeah.
Like that was the groundwork. That was the ground floor of all this shit that we see now. Like,
no doubt.
And the expectations that have been created, which we can hop into now. I'm going to go ahead and lead this one.
Go for it.
Memphis got some more love in top 25 in that category, in the rankings category. The AP this time, they got 9 votes. They ended up being the 6th highest ranked group of 6 team. Boise State got a nod at number 25. And then outside of that, you had ahead of them Tulane, UNLV, Toledo, and James Madison.
Yeah.
So Memphis was 6th among group of 6 teams. And
yeah,
I think this is.
And then Liberty and Navy were right behind them with 5 votes each.
Liberty, Navy, Army, Louisiana Lafayette, all sort of in that group. I mean, sort of copy and paste what I've been saying about being a part of preseason rankings. It's just amazing to me that this program is at a point where you can lose quarterback, running back, tight end, 3 starting offensive linemen, your entire receiving core, have 1 returning defensive player, a starter, in William Whitlow. Maybe Cortland Marsh. We'll see how the depth chart figures itself out. And we'll talk about it as soon as it gets released. But you can lose and replace all that and still be thought of by coaches and by media members as a top 25 team. I'm not saying you do a victory lap by getting 9 votes in the AP top 25, but what I am saying is
it shows the progress.
I don't know if there's ever been another era in Memphis football's history. In fact, there hasn't been another era in Memphis football's history where they've gotten this type of benefit of the doubt. And I think like when you look at schools in this same category in the group of 6 or thereabouts that get that benefit of the doubt no matter what, I think Boise State gets that. Like they lose Ashton Jeanty, their top 25 team. And Tulane, although it hasn't been as long, gets that. And Memphis is right there. Like there's very few schools at this level that get that benefit of the doubt, and Memphis is one of them.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just like we talked about this last week. We talked about this on your show last week as well. Like it is a great sign for where the program's at. It's impressive, like you said, with all the turnover. But I do, just to go kind of a different direction, I think this is probably more in line with where expectations are for this team. And then the coaches poll, I think it was Boise State, and then Memphis had the next most votes. So I think this is a little bit more in line with where this team is at right now, I guess. I mean, just from the outside looking in, not knowing how Brendon Lewis is going to play, not knowing how all these transfers are going to adapt, it's a lot more safe to have them somewhere between 6 and 10 than number 2, just because there is so much unproven on this team. And Tulane was the one that really kind of surprised me that they weren't in the coaches poll as well, especially with how big of a story Jake Retzlaff was last year at BYU. But yes, I mean, it's impressive. It's good for the program. It shows how far that they've come. It shows that they have gained respect around the country from coaches, media members, and just people that know the game of college football. But still, I don't know what it means for this year.
Yeah, I bullshit around on social media all the time, and I'll say like brand is thriving when people like tag me in Memphis football stuff. But like seriously, man, brand is thriving, and it has been thriving for some time. And I take a lot of pride in that. Now, you brought up Brendon Lewis at quarterback. I saw a video from Memphis football over the weekend of Arrington Maiden throwing a deep ball and completing it, and he was playing with the ones. What? Are we a little bit too quick on the trigger?
Maybe
Brendon Lewis a starter. I don't know, man. Like, obviously, it hasn't been named, and they're not going to name it until probably game week when they put out that game week depth chart against Chattanooga. But
No, we probably won't know until the game starts. That's my guess. It
you think
might
it'll be
be.
an or? He'll
Yeah,
or it. He'll slash it.
I think it might be oars.
Oh my
I think it
gosh,
might be
dude.
one that really goes down to the
That's
wire.
such that's a weird way to play it, though, man. In my opinion.
I mean, that happened with Brady and David Moore too. I mean, Norvell would not name a starter between Brady White and David Moore.
Even
And
though he knew damn well.
yes, and I
who
think
was going
that
to be the long-term starter.
I think that might have been more so just for David, like just for his confidence and just to kind of give him a nod of what he had done at Memphis and stayed at Memphis when other quarterbacks had left. What was the other Brady that left in the spring that year?
Davis.
Brady Davis. Because I think he knew all along who he wanted to start at quarterback. But this one, I don't know. I think we really took the American Conference Media Days and with it that Brendon Lewis went. And I think that's a good indicator, but at the end of the day, like,
it's not the end all be all.
It's not. And things change, and Brendon Lewis cannot be the starting quarterback, but be a good ambassador for the program. And it could have just been a way to say, here you go, but we still don't have a clue of who it's going to be.
It's hard to say, like especially if it doesn't start. Like a non-starting quarterback 1-year transfer is a good ambassador for the program. That's a strange thing. But he is experienced, with media and everything else, very media trained. Now, stylistically, it's kind of interesting because I think if Brendon Lewis is the starter, it's going to be completely different. If Arrington Maiden's the starter, I think you could keep some semblance of what you have been doing under Seth Hennigan because he can be more of a pocket passer. Not saying he doesn't have legs at all, probably about like Seth when it comes to running Arrington Maiden. But he's a guy who I think could potentially thrive as a redshirt sophomore if he were the starter in a similar system what they've been running. But let's say Brendon Lewis is the starter. Changes to the offense ultimately would have to come from that, 100%, right? Because he's not the pocket passer that Seth was, but he also has a different dynamic with his legs that he could bring to the table. He's shown it at Colorado and Nevada. So, like, what do you think that ultimately would look like, right? Like, what type of offensive changes would have to be facilitated to give Brendon Lewis the best shot to be the best quarterback at Memphis?
Yeah, I think you'd have to keep things pretty close to the line of scrimmage. Not that I mean let me look real quick. I think his average depth of target or average complete it was 7.3 yards, and the year before that it was 5.6 and very limited action. So he's not you're not really looking to stretch the field. You're kind of keeping everything in front of you. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can see you have RPO listed down. So I think that will be a big part of it. I think we've talked a lot about Sutton Smith and Greg DeRosier and what they bring, especially as pass catchers. I think they'll have to be heavily utilized. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw both of them on the field a lot, just to give you different actions, different eye candy things to look at, put people in motion. But I think there's got to be a lot of movement. I think there's got to be a lot of reads if Brendon Lewis is the quarterback. And you more so pick and choose your shots rather than have an offense that's really trying to stretch the field. You keep everything in that 5 to 10 yard range. And if you're running the ball well and you got safeties creeping up and you got corners creeping up and they're playing man coverage, that's when you take your shot and take your opportunity down the field. So I think that's really what it would look like, because I think you have to utilize his legs. I mean, he ran for almost 800 yards and 8 touchdowns last year. And that's obviously, we know in college, that's accounting for sack yardage as well. So I think it's a different dynamic that Memphis hasn't had. I mean, this isn't something that when you think of Memphis quarterbacks, you don't think of mobility. You don't think of guys running the ball. I mean, we mentioned Brady White. We mentioned Seth Hennigan. So the last, whatever that is, 7 or 8 years of Memphis football have not been. Riley was not a runner. Paxton was a little bit more athletic and capable of it, but he was still more of a down the field passer. So this is something that we really haven't seen at Memphis. A lot of people, I don't know if you remember this, but around that 2017, 18, 19 period of time when it was Patrick Taylor, Darrell Henderson, Tony Pollard, like people were so in awe of what a Mike Norvell offense could look like with a running quarterback. And so, and obviously this isn't a Mike Norvell offense, but I just think it could be good for Memphis to have, and good for Tim Cramsey and good for Ryan Silverfield to have to mix things up and have to get creative and get outside the box, because there were so many times over the last few years where people were talking about the lack of creativity in this offense. And if you're given a quarterback that's not a true pocket passer, that's not a great down the field passer, your hand is almost forced to get creative and have more ways to get people the ball in space and to play off your quarterback's
Right.
legs. So I think if Brendon Lewis is the starter, it should really be able to open this offense up, and Ryan and Tim should really be able to get creative in what they can do. And it's not because Brendon Lewis is some incredibly arm talent level quarterback, but it's because he has a skill set that they haven't utilized before.
Yeah, and here's the thing: he's a capable thrower of the football. I don't want that to be lost on people.
No.
Like, the guy can throw the hell out of the football from the pocket, off platform, do all those things. But I don't think he is Seth Hennigan level when it comes to progressing through reads and being able to put that amount of trust into a guy.
Right.
One, he's never really done that in his college career. He hasn't been in good situations where they've been able to utilize that skill set. And two, he's a first-year transfer. Seth Hennigan was on campus with Tim Cramsey for 3 years.
Right.
Like, there's a level of trust that's built in to a relationship like that. But like I you brought up that running back room and like the playmakers: Patrick Taylor, Darrell Henderson, Tony Pollard, Antonio Gibson, Kenny Gainwell. Like, I want to draw a parallel, because I'm not saying this running back room's the same as that room, because I don't think it's hard to imagine anyone in the country recreating that running back room.
100%.
Like, I'm talking even Alabama. Like,
Yeah.
that was a ridiculous running back room, 2018, 2019, when they were able to, make that Cotton Bowl run. But I think when you look back at how that season went, you just had a bunch of dynamic playmakers in that backfield, in that running back room, that could split out in the slot. They could catch a ball out of the backfield. You could run two backs out there, split back sets. You could run a lot more 21, 20, personnel groupings where you have two backs on the field. I think that is what this year could look like in a lot of ways, because Sutton Smith and Greg DeRosier, while I get the sense that they're not the best in between the tackle runners, they can run the ball in between the tackles if you ask them to. Like, you can ask them to do a lot of different things and make them dynamic playmakers. And that's why I bring up the RPO thing, because when you have dynamic playmakers like that, you want to give options to the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think between those two running backs and some of the guys they have on the outside, while unproven, they're very athletic and they can move. CJ Smith, transfer from Purdue, who was a Georgia commit out of high school. He runs near a 4.4, 4.3. He's strong as hell. He's 6'2". He's a guy the staff really likes. He was on the Bruce Feldman Freaks list.
Yeah.
Like, just sort of looking at guys like that, Brady Clues, Jaden Thompson, a transfer, like giving them some now routes to the outside and some of those RPO concepts. I think that has the chance to be pretty dynamic and solid for the Tigers. I'm not saying they're going to abandon the downfield passing game and what Seth Hennigan did well, but I think that in the grand scheme of things, you need to play to your personnel. We talk about the difference between good and great coaches all the time. Good coaches have a system. They force you to fit that system. That system works. Great coaches take the personnel that they have and,
formulate a system off of that
around the personnel that they have. And I think that this is going to be a big test for this this offensive staff, Tim Cramsey in particular. I think he'll pass the test, though. I have no reason to believe that he's going to, try to fit a square peg into a round hole when it comes to Brendon Lewis or whoever he runs out there at quarterback.
Yeah. One more question I want to ask and kind of have a conversation about, and then we can move along to the hot three. But we're talking about all this variation in play calling and what it could look like if Brendon Lewis quarterback. If they are still unsure of if it's going to be Arrington Maiden or if it's going to be Brendon Lewis, and we know Arrington's more of a pocket passer style, how does that affect this offseason? If they're unsure of what the quarterback is going to do, how ready are they really going to be for week one? How are they going to mix things in if it's Brendon Lewis and they weren't sure throughout the offseason if it was going to be Brendon Lewis, if it was going to be Arrington Maiden? How do you change your offense on the fly like that?
That's tough. It's just tough. I don't have a good answer for that.
Yeah.
It's just, your start, let's say Brendon Lewis is the starter, Arrington Maiden's the backup, or maybe they're slashing. Like, you decide what play calls and what type of style that each of these guys like, and you call plays around that, right? And hope that everybody else is sort of on the same page around them.
Yeah.
But I don't have a good answer for that. Like it's a very interesting dynamic that you're talking about, though. And in certain situations, and maybe in this one, it could be sort of a hamper to their offseason work and fall camp when they're not all on the same page. Wide receivers don't necessarily know what they're going to get from a play calling standpoint based on who's playing quarterback. It's an interesting point you bring up, honestly.
Yeah. No, it definitely concerns me because you just talked about fitting a square peg into a round hole. And if they try to do that with Brendon Lewis, I think they're tying one hand behind his back and handicapping him. If they're trying to just run the same system with him and Arrington Maiden in a quarterback battle, then it concerns me for what this season could look like.
Yeah, but still, at the end of the day, like as much as we're asking these questions, do you really get any semblance, or have you heard anything? Because I know I haven't, about Arrington Maiden actually being the real starter by the time the season gets on. Like I still think this offense is going to be built around Brendon Lewis, and the play calling is going to be built around Brendon Lewis in the end of the day.
I agree. But 19 days away from the season, like these are the conversations that we have.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. 100%.
We have to have something.
And it's honestly a very fair, interesting, it's more of a deep thinking, abstract question. Because that's a tough dynamic to deal with.
Yeah.
No, if you have an injury and you've gotten used to a certain style of offense, and you have to go to this next guy who doesn't necessarily thrive in that set of circumstances.
Yeah.
You have to pivot on the fly, and pivoting on the fly for any program in the country is damn near impossible.
Especially when you got 3 returning starters and most of them have transfers that played at other schools.
Sure.
All right, Gabe, let's take a quick break. I know everybody's clamoring for Kenny to get back in right now. So quick break. We'll be back on the other side with the Hot 3.
Looking for an alternative to alcohol or conventional medicine? Check out Ounce of Hope, a Memphis-based dispensary with 2 local stores in the Sanderland Center and on South Cooper Street. You can get all the products you need in a location convenient to you. Each store offers an intentional shopping experience with dedicated bud tenders to answer all of your questions, from product selection and mushroom blends to our personal favorite, the Delta 9 seltzers. You gotta try the Peach Buzz. Try Ounce of Hope at either one of their 2 Memphis stores or at www.ounceofhope.com for convenient products shipped right to your door. Use the promo code BluffCity for 15% off any order, excluding sale items. Cannot be used in conjunction with other promotions or discounts. One use per customer. I've seen some people really kind of get after Penny for that statement.
I have not, bro. I haven't seen much of anything on this whole thing.
Like, what did you expect him to say? You expect him to come out and just throw the kid to the wolves? That is, if in the history of Penny Hardaway as the head coach of the University of Memphis, when has that ever happened? When has he ever done that?
Yeah, he's never done it. Yeah. But that cloud over the team is going to be there as long as these investigations and these accusations are on the way.
If the Tigers come out and they win games, especially early on, and Sincere Parker's an active contributor to them winning games, ain't nobody going to talk about anything that happened legally with him. Now, if they come out and they struggle and he struggles, then the questions are going to be, why are they struggling? Is it because of the legal cloud hanging over Sincere Parker's head, right? Like,
good point.
But if they win games, I can guarantee you there is not going to be a single conversation about the off-season legal stuff that he's going to be going through. Check out the Anthony Sain Show live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. only on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story. Welcome back, boys. It is good to be with y'all, man. I missed y'all on that first segment.
Yeah, how was dinner?
Dinner was good, man. My daughter's first volleyball game for West Collierville Middle School was tonight. Guys, they might be the best volleyball team in the whole entire country. They're very, very good.
Good?
They're very
Nice.
good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So she played tonight. So I was rushing to get home, rushing to get back over here. I had to grab some food. Hadn't eaten anything. I was starving. So thank you for letting me sit out the first segment and come in and hang out with you guys at the Hot 3, man. You guys ready to go?
Let's do
Yes,
it.
sir.
Let's go. Listen, man. The preseason football is what it is. NFL football is what it is. Like it is. You know, I don't know how much you learn. In week one of the NFL preseason this year, I do think we learned one thing. Shedeur Sanders is the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL. Is that fair? Am I wrong on this? He came in, started week one. Obviously, Joe Flacco's not going to play. He's definitely going to start for Cleveland. But Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel are both out with injuries. So Shedeur Sanders came in and started and played all the way to the third quarter. Went 14 to 23, 138 yards with 2 touchdown passes, and literally set the entire football world on fire.
That he did do. I will say that. But my biggest takeaway is he wasn't a fifth round pick.
No.
Like he did not look like a fifth round pick. And also another takeaway I have is this is another example of NFL scouts and front office people overthinking things when it comes to draft prospects and what they do well. Because when he got drafted in the 5th round, there were the obvious questions about character concerns and how he interviewed. But ultimately, I think most people with a brain came down on the side of history that told you, okay, he's not a physical attribute guy. He ain't 6'5", he ain't 235, he doesn't run a 4.4, he doesn't have some rocket for an arm. But one thing that I always thought he did better than everybody else in the 2025 NFL draft class, not named Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is, without question, he was the best quarterback at just about everything in this class. But one thing he did better than everybody not named Cam Ward was just feel for the quarterback position. When you look at those
really
2
accurate
touchdown passes, he's rolling to the left on the first one off play action, sets his feet up, right? Like a lot of guys will just keep running and not get their feet set and try to flip one up there. He set his feet, rips one. Probably wanted a little more zip on that ball, but the ball placement is something you can't teach. Right to Caden Davis in the basket, and you have two Panther defenders closing in. Perfect window throw, the type of window throw that needs to be made at the NFL level. And then the second one, I think this really put his feel on display. Drops back, nice 5-step drop, and there's a blitz from a Panthers linebacker. He knows, okay, we have a 6-man protection, so this running back may be late, so let me trust him real quick. Takes 2 steps to the right, and the running back gets a little body on that linebacker. Now, there is dozens and hundreds of draft pick quarterbacks in the preseason who have probably seen that look. And as soon as they get that look, they sprint outside and, like a chicken with their head cut off and freak out, right? And then they try to find a play, make a play downfield. Shedeur Sanders steps to the right, uses his pocket awareness, realizes, okay, I'm going to have about a second to throw this ball. Once I evade this linebacker, he steps, gets his feet under him, and delivers a damn strike in between 2 defenders, safety over top, cornerback on the back of Caden Davis, touchdown. So, that's the thing that, as much as his physical attributes didn't lend itself to maybe first-round, top 10 quarterback, his feel for the quarterback position has always been at the top of this NFL draft class, and I think that was something that got overlooked pretty substantially through the process.
Yeah, did you see all the Mel Kiper memes? Those were hilarious.
Yeah, Mel Kiper. That man, he felt good. I'm sure he was sitting at home watching every snap, loving it.
Yeah. No, I mean, he did look really good. I'm not going to overreact to this, though. Like you said, he looked really good. He didn't look panicked. He didn't look like it was too much for him. But we do have to pump the brakes, like preseason week 1.
Sure.
playing deeper into the game, I think he played until halftime or right before halftime. So I'm not going to get carried away, but it does make you go a little bit more, okay, maybe he is going to take this quarterback room over at some point. And
Right, but he didn't have any real training camp looks. I mean, he didn't get a bunch of reps, and to step in there in that situation.
Yeah, no, it is impressive.
I think it just shows in general, like he just has an understanding of that position.
Right. No, I agree. And he looked really good. Another quarterback that looked really good. A few of them actually. Jackson Dart looked really good for the Giants. Played well in that game. Jalen Milroe looks like if he does get in there, he is going to be so much fun to watch.
I've said this so many times. I said this in college. You'll remember it when he was originally going to start 2 years ago in Nick Saban's final year. He's just so robotic throwing the ball.
Yeah.
And he's gotten better.
It is much.
He's got. I mean, when we talk arm talent in this last draft class, he's probably up there with Cam Ward.
Yes.
Like arm talent.
Yes.
It's just so robotic. And if somebody can teach that out of him and make him more fluent throwing the ball from the pocket, watch the hell out.
Yeah, because his
legs are natural.
He really is like Lamar Jackson. Like when he's on the field, he is the fastest player on the field. Like everybody else looks like they're moving in slow motion when he takes off, and he's very decisive about running the ball. He knows exactly when he's going to take off, and he was fun to watch. So a lot of these new Cam Ward too. Cam Ward looked exactly like he did in college, like catching the snaps, sitting back there like nothing else was going on around him, and just being patient and delivering good balls. He hooked up with Calvin Ridley a couple times, so it was a good preseason week one for a lot of the rookie quarterbacks. But once again, like this doesn't mean anything, and we know that. I'm not saying that you're saying
and to your point, the Browns just published their week 2 preseason depth chart. And he's still 4th,
right?
Which I'm going to be honest, I think that's relatively stupid.
Yeah,
it's not like Kenny Pickett or Dylan Gabriel have earned a damn thing. If you want to breed competition in a quarterback room, move Shedeur up that damn depth chart and watch what Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett, watch their reaction.
Just go ahead and cut Kenny Pickett also.
Yeah, stop. But I don't like that political bullshit, man. Like if you see someone do it on the stage that you want them to do it on, like Shedeur did on Friday night, move him up that depth chart, brother. Yeah. Because it's not like anybody outside of Joe Flacco should be untouchable. Like they're like if you're a 2 or a 3. You shouldn't be untouchable. Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett haven't done shit in this league. And Shedeur just had a good first game. Put some pressure on those guys. Breed some real competition. Act serious. I saw a bunch of people after that having that same reaction. Ben Solak from ESPN said, he shouldn't move up the depth chart. There's no reason to. It's like, there's no reason to? Why shouldn't? Answer this question. Why shouldn't he move up the depth chart with a performance like that?
Very fair.
That's the only thing I'd say back. Real quick, let me go to the other side of quarterback performances. Y'all watch Quinn Ewers?
Yeah, that was bad.
He's not long for this league, brother.
No.
5 for 18 passing.
2 fumbles too.
2 fumbles. Now
it's crazy because wasn't he the highest
of all time?
Highest rated recruit of all time
coming out of high school.
Yep. He got put in a really crappy situation because we know the Dolphins' first O-line sucks.
It's bad.
Third or fourth, but God, did he look bad? He looked so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I will say in a totally different vein, like quarterbacks do not look good in that teal either. Like outside of Tua. And I guess it's just because he's got darker complected skin, but you throw a super white quarterback in those teal uniforms, and they look like a scrub.
Hey, what about Skylar Thompson, brother? Is he going to push for a starting job there in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I saw that. He had a good game.
He fucking hooped. 20 for 28, 233, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Oh, man.
But also Mason Rudolph was 9 for 10 with a touchdown, so I guess it was just the Jags suck.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't know if y'all saw Tanner McKee.
Can we talk about Seth?
Tanner McKee went 20 of 25 for 252 and 2 touchdowns. So once again, this is preseason.
Speaking of Seth, 11, 14, 78 yards. Okay. All right. Good start. Something to build off of. I think the Jags, though, all the shine was taken off anybody that played for the Jags because did you see their rookie kicker, Cam Little?
70 yards.
Okay, you know those practice tees? Like the practice tees that most kickers practice with, like the little, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like you can get some good distance on those things. Like I've seen Jake Elliott at a Memphis practice hit like a 65, 66 yarder. Even with practice tees, I've never ever seen someone hit a 70 yarder, much less with operation, snap, hold, kick, 70 yarder, and with like 2 or 3, maybe 4 yards to spare.
Yeah, 100%. He boomed it,
nailed that ball.
Yeah, it was nuts. All right,
I think that should be the NFL record. Hot take, real quick.
Huh?
I don't care if it's not regular season. I think they need to put that in the record book.
I agree. I mean, he did it in a game.
Like, think about how much it changes the game to have a kicker where if you get to the 50-yard line, you're going to get 3.
You're good.
That's crazy. You shitting me, dude?
Crazy.
Do y'all think? Let's go back to Shedeur for 1 second. Are you guys annoyed at all by the way that these large companies, these large Fortune 100 companies like Nike, who get behind players like Shedeur, put these marketing campaigns behind them? He had this first game where he played well, but didn't change really anything for the Cleveland Browns. But they put out a picture, an ad of him holding up the arm like a watch and said, "Only a matter of time." Like,
I think it's great.
Does that skew the public narrative about Shedeur and what
100%,
to expect out of him?
100%. But the public narrative of Shedeur has been skewed for quite some time, so I don't think this really moves the needle that much. Like,
I think it's badass.
Yeah, I agree. But there's so many people that as soon as he got drafted was like, oh, he should be the starter immediately. Like, there is a perception of him that he's created for himself, not only because of being the son of Deion Sanders, but also just like the moxie and swag that he has. That it's like anybody else. The more marketed you are, the more marketable you are, the better people think you are. Like, people still think Odell Beckham Jr. is good.
Right.
Because he marketed himself and was heavily marketed so well that people still are like, oh, yeah, he's one of the best receivers of all time. And never got to that point. The more you're in the public eye, the more people think you're good.
Well, I mean, Odell Beckham, though, like.
I mean, he was not. I'm not.
Whenever people like try to say he should be signed by a team, they just pull up New York Giants. What was that, 2017? Where he's just reaching back.
The greatest catch I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh yeah, it was nasty.
It was unreal, but still, you can't live a whole career off of that.
All right. Yeah, he did.
He kind of did. He kind of did.
Let's go. Topic number 2. We talked about Shedeur. Let's talk about the second best quarterback in the entire world, and that's one Archibald Charles Manning. Arch Manning in Texas. I mean, Arch Mania is just going crazy right now. Is Arch Mania out of control, boys?
Yes. Simply put, yes. There's a couple things that Gabe's going to point out that are crazy, but Texas was number 1 in the coaches poll. They were number 1 in the AP poll that came out. First time they've been preseason number 1. And to be preseason number 1 with a brand new starting quarterback that has played very little in college football is absurd to me. And I know there's a lot of question marks at the top of the top 25 right now as far as quarterbacks go. You got Ohio State is number 3 with Julian Sayin. You've got Dante Moore at Oregon. So there's turnover there at the quarterback position. But you got Drew Allar at Penn State, who's number 2. You got Cade Klubnik at Clemson, who's number 4. I think LSU was 9 with Garrett Nussmeier. But at the top of them all, the number 1 team in the country is Arch Manning, who has played very, very limited snaps in his career.
Yeah, and shout out to our good friends at FanDuel Sportsbook because they give us odds on these things. Arch Manning to win the Heisman in 2025. He has the shortest odds at plus 700. And then Texas to win the national title. They have the shortest odds at plus 600. So, yes, this is out of control. There's just no question about it. He played in 3 games last year, notably UL Monroe, Mississippi State, and UTSA. And did he do some good things in those games? Yeah, absolutely. But let me ask you some questions. And I'm not expecting an answer, but I'm going to ask you some questions. Is he a better natural thrower of the football than Garrett Nussmeier? Is he a better natural runner of the football than DJ Lagway or Lenora Sellers? Like, what do we really, in your opinion, hang our hat on when it comes to Arch Manning? Because there's one thing very obviously that we hang our hat on, and that's his last name.
His last name. Yeah.
Like, because I don't think he is more talented at any facet of playing quarterback than quarterbacks that are already in college football right now.
Agreed.
So, like, I just don't quite understand it. Is he good at everything? Sure. But that name is doing all the heavy lifting, and that scares the hell out of me. The expectations created for this kid are Heisman and national championship. And anything less than that being, I'm not calling it a failure, but like coming up short of the preseason expectations, that's insane to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to let a young quarterback be a young quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't personally expect Arch Manning to be the Heisman quarterback he's being cracked up to be. How could I?
Yeah.
And also, to answer those questions from earlier, is he a better thrower of the football than Garrett Nussmeier, a better runner of the football than Lenora Sellers or DJ Lagway? Well, I think I can say with DJ Lagway and Lenora Sellers running the football, no, he's not. But, like, is he a better thrower of the football than Garrett Nussmeier? I have no earthly idea. I have no way of knowing. So to, like, have him in these conversations for shortest odds to win a Heisman, Texas shortest odds to win a Natty, I find it insane. Now, does he have some good weapons? He's got to have a good offensive line, yes.
Ryan Wingo
taken care of. Ryan Wingo's great. Quinn Wisner in the backfield. CJ Baxter coming back from injury in the backfield. I feel good about his supporting cast, and that could help him, and it most certainly will help him. But to act like he is like this quarterback that is leaps and bounds better than, or is he's going to be better than anybody else in the country, that's just a step that I cannot take with the kid.
Yeah. I mean, personally think it would be awesome if he comes in and, like, lights the world on fire and is the story of college football. Like, it'd be awesome for the game. But like Gabe said, to put those kind of expectations on someone who is a first-time starting quarterback is so out of control. Because, I mean, we see these, like, Gabe named some of the best quarterbacks in the country: Garrett Nussmeier, Lenore Sellers. We talked about Cade Klubnik. Like, these guys are all projected first-round, potential top 10 picks this year, and they are not the favorite to win the Heisman is crazy. Like, for him to be the favorite to win the Heisman with very little game time at the collegiate level is absurd to think about. Like,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like, Garrett Nussmeier put up stupid numbers last year and had massive games. Lenore Sellers' potential is out of this world because he has a cannon for an arm and he can run all over anybody. Cade Klubnik can do it, throwing the ball and running the ball. Like, it just is crazy that he is the favorite to win the Heisman. But I will say, it kind of in another vein, I think the upside of this team is much higher with him at quarterback than Quinn Ewers. I think Quinn Ewers was really holding this team back. He was very indecisive. He lacked any upside for most of his career at Texas. Like, he never really put you over the top. He never really went out there and won you games. The only time that it looked like he was going to do that was 2 years ago against Alabama, and then he got hurt in that game. Like, that was the one game where people were looking at him going, this dude is lights out. Like, he is about to allow Texas to smack Alabama, and then he got hurt. So I do think, even though Arch has very limited playing time, he's a first-year starter, I think the ceiling of this team is higher with him at the helm than with Quinn Ewers.
I'm so glad you say that because I agree wholeheartedly, but I hate this narrative that I think less and less people are running with, but they had run with it. They ran with it last year, and Texas haters, I think, for the most part, are running it with it going into this year. They're like, look at Quinn Ewers. Why couldn't Arch, if he's so good, why could he start over Quinn Ewers? Well, one, you have an incumbent quarterback who is the best 247 recruit of all time. You go with that guy. Like, he's been in the system. He understands it. You don't go with a freshman, even though they did go with a freshman at times last year. But also, like, learn from history every once in a fucking while, please.
Yeah.
Please, Derrick Henry sat behind TJ Yeldon. Joe Burrow sat behind JT Barrett and Justin Fields. Who else can I? Tua Tagovailoa ended up getting a nod over Jalen Hurts in a national championship, and Jalen Hurts is now probably a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League,
Kyler Murray
and
sat behind Baker
a
Mayfield.
Super Bowl winner. Like the situation and sometimes politics dictates who runs out there and who gets the start. And I don't think Quinn Ewers was near bad enough to rationalize throwing in a freshman over him.
Yeah.
You know, especially with all you did to get him and retain him using NIL and the portal and everything else. So like I'm tired of that narrative. I'm glad you brought that up.
All right, Kenny, last point.
All right, topic number 3, a sport that the three of us are extremely big fans of. We haven't talked about it much lately because there's not been a whole lot to talk about. There seems to be kind of in a downslide, like a slow burn right now of trying to build up superstars in the UFC. But the UFC has been broadcasting all of their stuff, their UFC fight nights, all of their programming, their pay-per-views have all been on ESPN, ESPN Plus for the last, I think, 4 or 5 years, maybe something like that. One of the big topics of conversation has been where will the UFC broadcast, or will the rights be broadcast starting once this ESPN deal is done? And the answer was given today. The UFC has signed a deal, a 7-year, $7.7 billion deal with Paramount and CBS to broadcast all of their content on CBS and Paramount. The Paramount Plus, or the Paramount app, will have all of their numbered their pay-per-view events that are numbered. Will be moving off of a pay-per-view style thing, going to the Paramount network, the app, streaming there. They'll have 30 plus fight nights going on. And then I think I read, and I might be wrong on this, but I think I read that there's going to be 4 or 5 events that are special events that will be broadcast on CBS channel. The largest, second largest, one of the largest
one of
national networks. It is a massive deal. What are your guys' initial thoughts? Like, do you like that they're kind of moving away from the pay-per-view model?
Hell yeah. This is one of the most pro-consumer deals in TV media rights history.
100%.
Especially when it comes to combat sports, brother. Like last year, you would have had to spend $1,160 to buy every pay-per-view for the UFC. This year, going into 2026, not this year, but 2026, $120 flat rate, Paramount Plus. There you go. And then some will be on CBS.
Yeah.
Like that. This is as pro-consumer as it gets. And I respect that part of this deal.
Is it a sign though of things to like of kind of where the UFC model is, that their pay-per-views just aren't doing as well as like that?
No, I don't think so. I think this is just what everybody is going to. And I know this is kind of like it's a different example because it's not a combat sport, but the WWE recently did this
with ESPN Plus.
No, they all their pay-per-views went to
Peacock.
Right.
Right.
I think they're with Netflix now, maybe.
They are on Netflix, but they just signed a ESPN deal.
Okay.
TKO parent company just signed an ESPN deal.
But the way that they had went with all their pay-per-views and everything was that they were direct to Peacock. Like as long as you had a Peacock subscription, then you were able to get that. So I think
was awesome. I loved it. I got to watch WrestleMania 2 nights in a row just because I have a Peacock subscription. Amazing.
So I think this is just kind of what it's going to. I don't think it's saying that the UFC is like failing and they're not getting pay-per-view buys, but
it's a $1.1 billion.
Yeah, it's a $7.7 billion deal. Nobody's failing. Yeah.
I think what it does is flatten the curve, right? Because you have some pay-per-view events that are up here, you have some pay-per-view events that are down here, you have some that land in the middle. But if you have this flat rate that everyone has to pay for every pay-per-view for every UFC show, you flatten that curve first off, but second of all, you appeal to a much wider audience because now it's not just ESPN, it's CBS, it's big time national brand. Not that ESPN isn't, but CBS just isn't just sports; it's everything. So it's more of an inclusive entity that more people know, and I think it just makes it more palatable because you have so many casual fans that could potentially get interested in the UFC that are not willing to pay that $100 a month to watch a pay-per-view. And now it's like, okay, if someone big is fighting, Gabe said this in pre-show, if it's John Jones, if John Jones is fighting and it's on Paramount Plus, how many more people are inclined to do that than pay for the actual pay-per-view? Like it broadens the horizon so much, and I think it brings in so many new fans that they haven't reached before. When
they have those big cards, I think since they're doing this $120 Paramount Plus subscription and they're not doing pay-per-view, throw that thing on CBS. Make it a national television event, right? Like make it a shared experience for people. Maybe the only thing,
y'all tell me how y'all feel about this. The only thing that scares me about that is there is a lot of like raw stuff that happens in the UFC as far as like cussing is a great example during interviews and stuff. How do you do that? And I know they have the ABC cards. I know they've had the ESPN
they don't do that.
Cards,
yeah.
But it takes to me a little bit of the pageantry away if it's not on a streaming app where you can cuss and you gotta. I don't know.
They found a way. I mean, look at Pat McAfee show every day on ESPN.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, like there's ways. And I'll just say this: the FCC is controlled by a certain White House right now, and Paramount paid $16 million to settle a lawsuit with the guy that's serving in the White House, and ever since then, it feels like Paramount and CBS have been sort of sucking up to that certain guy in the White House. And I think this UFC deal may have to do with the fact that certain guy in the White House shows up to every event at the UFC. So like I would imagine that they wouldn't run into much trouble. Like let me just put it that way.
Fair. It's fair point.
The FCC would be sure there'd be exemptions or something that they could do to make it
smooth it all out.
Make it suitable where they wouldn't have to face a bunch of fines. Local CBS affiliates and CBS nationwide.
Where does this put? Because even with ESPN being such a big network, it kind of felt like the UFC was still kind of a niche market of fans in terms of how you consume their product, right? You had ESPN Plus and you could get it there. But this is like they're on CBS now. They're on Paramount now. Like that's where the NFL is. That's where golf is. Like that's where NASCAR. You know what I mean? Like, where does this put the UFC in terms of? You didn't have
to put it in NASCAR.
It's massive. It's massive.
You could have said college football.
Well, there you go. College football. Sorry. F1. Soccer. Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Where does it put the UFC?
It just puts them even more mainstream. I mean, obviously, being with ESPN had them at that point, and it's well recognized enough now where it's at that point. But this just puts it into a different tier to me. Yeah. It's like we're willing to put this in the same category with all the other major sports. It doesn't have to be just ESPN or ESPN Plus or pay-per-view. Like we're putting this on a national brand with every other major sport. So that's kind of where I stand on it.
But I just want to mention sort of the background of this deal, and I'm not going to get into the particulars. I got to some particulars there, but I didn't really get too specific. I just want to warn y'all, if you didn't know already, this is going to be a very highly scrutinized deal. It's going to be a highly scrutinized deal in the political realm. I can guarantee it. So just be ready for that.
Be ready for that.
Yeah.
All right, Gabe, I have a question for you. If the UFC is scheduled at the same time as NASCAR, what are you watching?
That's a crazy question.
Can I be completely transparent? And this is not to say NASCAR sucks or anything. I have never in my life.
I think it's exactly what he's about to say.
I have never in my life watched a NASCAR event.
Oh, ever.
Like actively seeked out a NASCAR event and turned it to. It could be biggest race of the year. I have no idea. That's so beyond me. I can't get into it. Never have been able to.
I agree.
Hey, all right, we can't leave tonight before we last topic. You guys are both avid golfers at this point. We can't leave tonight without talking about the FedEx St. Jude tournament. And
Yeah, it
just
was awesome.
what an amazing
Shout out
event it
to-
was.
Dude, Justin Rose at 45 for the older statesman making it happen. And then Justin Rose and JJ Spawn, they could be pitted against each other in the Ryder Cup. So
In the
we
Ryder
got
Cup.
a
It's a
nice
Ryder
little-
Cup battle.
We could have a nice little preview of what that's going to look like. I just find it really cool that this stop is one of the most competitive stops on the tour
Yes.
every single year, especially in the playoffs. 4 of the last 5 years have gone to a playoff.
Yeah.
And this was 3 playoff holes. They had to switch. They had to change the.
That was dope.
Cup.
I like the way they did that. I like
Yeah,
the way they
change
just
the
cut a
cup
new hole.
placement.
They had to move the cup. They had to do all these different things. I thought it was competitive as hell. It's really fun. I thought Saturday, 2:59 p.m., running a Boeing 777 over
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fred's initials, Fred
Yeah.
Smith's initials over top. That was badass. I enjoyed it. I will say this though, poor Tommy Fleetwood.
Dude,
Oh,
That poor brother.
it's
can't
got to be
even
mental.
ride
It's got to be mental at this
He
point,
is
right?
a- he's a
162 starts. He has finished in the top 25 or top 5 41 times and has
0
never
wins.
won.
Yeah.
Now he still made 32.5 million, so let's not
Oh,
feel
he's
too
fine.
bad.
yeah, no, we don't feel bad for him, but man,
it-
that's twice in like the last 2 months that he has had prime
Travelers.
opportunity and
Hold up.
choked it away.
This is one of my favorite stats ever, just to show how bad of a choker he is and how bad he choked this weekend. Let's see here.
Painful.
I'm sorry. I mean, it is painful. His first 53 holes, right? Okay, holes where Tommy Fleetwood missed the fairway, missed the green in regulation, and made bogey or worse this weekend. First 53 holes, he only had 1 such hole. His
Oh.
last 2 holes, he had 2.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh,
He does
God.
not have the ice. He has no
Dude,
zero ice.
You can
He's
see it in his
just
face.
built
He
to
doesn't
be-
have.
he's built to be a top 10 finisher and not win tournaments. And,
Yeah.
you know, for some guys, that's okay. Like, I still think of Tommy Fleetwood as a really, really good golfer.
I think he's he's like number 2 or number 3 in the world right now in the rankings. But
Yeah, I mean, he's a great. He's always around there. Top 20 ranked golfer in the world, just never can win. It
No.
just for some guys, that's just sort of what they're, I guess, for lack of a better word, doomed to be.
yeah. All right, boys. Well, let's close it out. If you are watching on YouTube, you can like, subscribe, and comment there. If you're listening via podcast, whether that's Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platform, you can do the same there. Once again, we appreciate everyone for joining us, and we will see you back here next week.
Thank you for listening to On the Bluff. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports and how you can become an insider.